Hello everyone, happy Monday to you all. It's the start of another week and time for another Monday Musings video. And today I wanted to share with you a unique journal cover that I found. It's by Premia. It's a mixed media album, cat hair, and it's 7x9, and it's, I know, probably impossible for you to see the resist design that's there on my camera, but I will show you the thing that's on the package so that you can kind of get an idea of what's there. And so we're going to play with that today. And I've got my area kind of protected because I usually use a little spray booth to do my sprays like this, and I have all sorts of paper towels that I use that I just lay in there or I use to blot with, and they have some really cool color combinations, and I keep them and use them sometimes. Pretty cool, huh? Like this. And I wanted to mention also that the only kind of paper towels that I use are either Viva, which are these really thick ones, soft and thick ones, or I use shot towels. Those are the blue ones. And I have a package here that's unopened that kind of give you an idea. Lay it down like that. And I began using these because as a painter you don't want to use the really inexpensive paper towels that you might use with your food or something that are just really brittle and not so soft. They're just the cheap ones. Well, you know, you kind of save some money in that respect, but as a painter with brushes, it tears up brushes. So as the artists have always learned to use shop towels instead because they're softer and they don't have those brittle fibers that tear up. And I use them and I cut them up into quarters, and I can paint all day long or craft all day long on one paper towel. So they really are very economical. And then with the Vivas, you can cut that paper towel in half and then just use it to blot with your Delusion sprays. So one paper towel roll will go a long way that way. So I wanted to let you know about that. I have a cat behind me on my chair that's clawing the towel that I put there, so in case you hear a little bit of clawing or see some action behind me, that's what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to spray here, and hopefully that I've got enough protection around. I have a fiberglass covered desk, and it's okay. It's messy anyway with paint, but it's okay, but it's not so easy to clean up, so let's hope that I don't get too much overspray. But what I've done is I've picked out some colors today, and I picked out the Fresh Lime Delusions, and then to go with it I picked out a Perfect Pearl Mist Sour Apple because the Delusion sprays are opaque and not sparkly, and the Perfect Pearls are sparkly, so I thought it'd be nice to do like an opaque and then an overlay. So I've got the Fresh Lime, and then I've got Gumball Pink, Bubblegum Pink, and Pink Gumball to go together, and then I've got the Calypso Teal and the Turquoise. And I didn't happen to have on hand a Perfect Pearl that is purple, so I've got the Crust Grape, and then I've got a little one that I just picked up at Michael's actually, called Ditto, that happens to be a little glimmer, and it is also purple. So I got those in front of me, and so I thought we'd play around with these resists things, and these can make what it is a journal cover. It's very thick. It's canvas, and there's like a foam filler in between. It's quite thick, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and there's resist on each side of them, I believe. Now there may not be a resist on this inside, but we're going to find out, aren't we? So I got some stencils too. A couple of stencils here that I like, and this one. This is pretty cool. This one says this is art, and this one says this is not art. So, you know, whatever, oops, there we go. Whatever you're feeling that day is the one that you could use. And I have two of Diane Reevely's new Couture collection stamps. I've got a walk, let's see, this is a walk in the park, and this one is, oh my gosh, I think it's Out on the Town or something like that. Let me look that up. And oh, Night at the Opera, there it is on the back, Night at the Opera and Walk in the Park. Okay. And I did a journal page for a quick-fire challenge with Walk in the Park, and I'm not sure where I put it, but I will put a picture of it on the blog, because looking around I don't see it, and I don't want to get up in the middle of the video and look for it. So I'll put a picture of it on the blog. Okay, so I want to go ahead and maybe start spraying some of these inks and see, and let's make the resist show up. So let's start with one, and I'm going to start with the bubble gum, and I've got my paper towel roll ready, and I've also got to make sure that I have a little spray bottle of water ready. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's start and see what we come up with. So I'm going to start with this bubblegum pink, and you see the resist start to come up there. I'm going to blot just a little bit, and I'm also going to give it a little spray of water. Give a little bit of movement. Blot some more. Okay, and now I'm going to shake up this Perfect Pearls spray that matches. And I'm going to do these individually because I want the sparkle color to go with the opaque color that I'm using. So let's spray that on there. Get a little sparkle with it. And let's go with the green next. So let's go right up next to that. Alright. Let's blot it. I love how that resist is starting to show through. And let's get our Perfect Pearl shook up. And add our sparkle. Okay, next let's go with I'm going to go with the purple. Come up here. I want to make sure I leave room for our last color. And our sparkle. Ooh, that's a lot darker. I'm not gonna use that a lot. I don't think I want that. Oh, let me clean my mess up here, because I don't want that to show up and leak onto the bottom. Other side. Could be a happy accident, but it could be a not so happy accident, so let's clean up. And so now I've added another color to my little paper towel masterpiece. Okay, dry that off. And I got a little bit on it, but not much. It'll be okay. Alright, so let's move on to the teal for the last section. I'm happy with this. And our Perfect Pearls. Okay, so we've got all our colors on there. I'm gonna spray some water so I can get a little bleed through on the areas where they come up next to each other, where I still have a little bit of white. And I'm going to lay this down and do a little blotting. Okay, now I've got my sparkle spray box next to me, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up this pearl and spray it up here on my purple, so that we get some sparkle without getting all of the dark that the Ditto spray was going to give us. So let's put that Ditto spray away for another day. Okay, so I want to let this dry up just a little bit. So let's work on our other piece. I'm going to set that aside. And let's see, I see the resist here. I don't see a resist there. Okay, so let's work on this. Let's go again with these same colors. Maybe in a little bit different order. Let's go to turquoise next. Oops, hold on, that's the sparkle. Oh, isn't that pretty together? And the pink. And our purple. Purple is my absolute all-time favorite color. Anything I make, if I can get purple in it anywhere, I do. Okay, let's see. Here's our pearl again. Okay, let's do some blotting. And I'm going to clean my mess up a little bit. This is comes from not spraying in the booth, so you have to be a little bit. You have to do a little housekeeping during the video. Okay, now I'm going to flood that with water so that my colors blend a little better. Okay, so there we have it. We have our two covers. This is, let me get this right. Okay, alright, so here's the front cover and a back cover. Well, okay, let's see if the other sides are resisting. There we go, I got it. Okay, front cover, back cover, or front cover, back cover. Let's see if we have anything on this other side, though. Let me get the one that's had a chance to dry off a little bit. Okay, so this time I'll start with purple and see if anything's coming up. Okay, so I don't see a resist pattern showing up, so we've got one side with resist and one side without. So let's just add some color. Let's Add some water. And blot it. Okay, clean up a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to grab an opaque white stain that I have, spray ink, and I didn't put it out with me, so pardon me while I grab it. Okay, I've got two. One of them is Plain Jane Baseboard, and one of them is Buttermilk from October Afternoon. So now let's take one of our stencils. Let's see, I'm going to use my Diane Reedley stencil. This one. And I want to do this right side up for you. Okay. Let's do it like this. Okay, and I want to kind of push it down here. It looks pretty cool like that, doesn't it? Okay, let's see what we get. Gonna shake this up to make sure it's blended, and I'm gonna just start spraying. And I don't want to get the rest of my color involved, so let's mask that off. Now that's a lot of ink on my stencil, so I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to pick up my stencil and I'm going to lay it down on top of my other piece, and I do get some movement, some white in there, very pale, but it's there. And I'm going to put that white ink down on here and let that dry. Okay. So let's let that dry and we'll go back to it in a minute. Okay, so I've got some pattern there. And now I want to use my stamps. I'm going to dry this just a little. Okay, I'm going to use my archival ink, my archival black ink, and I'm using my large Fiskars stamp press because this is a very large stamp and it's the biggest block that I have. The stamp is made out of silicone, so it's not going to tear, and that's really cool. So I have to kind of put this on diagonally, but I can make it work. Takes a little bit, but you can do it. Okay, now I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to push my foam away from my stamp pad there. I like this stamp press from Fiskars because it really allows me to put a lot of pressure down on the entire area of the stamp so that I get a good impression. Pull off some of the stray ink there from the pad. Okay. This back down. Now I'm going to put this towards, I want her feet to kind of come to the bottom. Okay. And I'm pressing this down, I'm holding it with one hand, and I'm rubbing over the entire area of the stamp with another hand so that I know I got a really, really good impression. Okay, so there we have the dress. Put this back on, and I'm going to use this large hat. Now, Diane's stamps don't come with heads, although you can use some of her other stamps as the heads, but I kind of think it's kind of cool and avant-garde and just a little bit out of the box to stamp the hats without the heads. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put that right here. Again, holding with one hand, pushing with the other. Okay, there's my stamp. And you know, you can quit here. You can add some more stencils. You could, let's see, do I have anything here? You can embellish some more, which I probably will. But let's use my little This Is Art stencil. I like it that way in all the different colors. Now I'm going to grab my black Delusion spray. My black marble. I'm going to mask off the rest of my page there, the rest of my area, because I don't want any bleed over. Okay. And I'm going to hold that stencil down. Okay, before I pick it up, I'm going to blot some of that ink. Oh my goodness, that didn't work, did it? Wow, that bled through. So, how do we fix that? Easy. Hang on. That's easily fixed. I'm going to grab some of Tim Holtz's Alpha Parts. These little plastic letters. And I'm going to take off an A for art, an ART for art. Find the R. Pull that off of there. Or try to pull that off of there. And the T. And I think I'm going to pull off an S as well. Okay. I'm going to take my scissors and snip off that little piece at the top. I'm going to dry this so that these have adhesive on the back and I want them to stick. Sometimes my blog videos are just as much about how to fix a mistake as it is how to do something. Okay. Okay, actually, you know, maybe this is a happy accident because I like the dimension of those on there. I like the stencil, but I like the dimension. Let's go ahead and finish it out. My letters are just a little bit larger than my stencil was. I don't have a capital T in this package, but I'm pretty sure I have the package with the capitals in another area of my wall behind me. So I'm going to leave that one off until I go get those. Okay, so there we go. Unhappy accident, happy fix. So we've got this on this side, ready to embellish when it's dry. And then this on this side. Okay, make sure, yeah, can do this right side up. And let's see what we've got with this over here. And I want to spray the Perfect Pearls and see if we can get that resist to come up, to show up. Yeah, it's coming up. I have short fingers, so it's a little hard for me to push down to spray. So sometimes I have to use my middle finger, so that's why I'm using that, just in case you wondered. Okay, let's see, did I use them? Yeah, I used all three. And let's do a little bit of blotting. That resist is showing up some, but not much. So let's go back to the Dylusions and see what happens. Yeah, we're kind of losing it. Okay, so there's another experiment that didn't really go the way we wanted it to. Just trying to save some of that ink. Probably would have been really good to do on a dark background, or if I had already put the colors on. It's there, but it's very, very faint. Okay, so let's see, let's put the purple on. So this is really just, you know, playing in the color. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, give yourself permission to experiment. Okay, I'm going to try that stencil again. Only this time, I'm going to try it with an ink. Need to dry this first. Let me do that. Okay, this takes a little while because it's got the foam in it. So let's do this way. And I'm going to take an ink applicator. And I'm going to use black ink. And I've got my Distress inks nearby. I'm going to use black soot. Ink that up really well. Okay. So we're getting something. This is good. And I've not got that big overspray. Now I could do this with the dabber paints as well. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our pattern. Now, I'm going to take the Walk in the Park stamp set. And let's put that right there, okay? Put it back on my stamp press. Go back to the archival ink, which is somewhere. There it is. I'm trying to miss the hose there. And because this has a foam core, then you really got to press a lot to get your impression. And I like Diane stamps because they have really big, bold lines. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to put, haven't used this hat stamp yet, so let's use that one. Just missed that hole. Okay, there we go. Now Diane has some really fun snarky sayings that you can use also to add to your pages. So I hope that you'll decide to play with color, play with your spray inks, and just embellish to your heart's content. And don't be afraid to make a mistake, because sometimes it can turn into something kind of fun. Oops, may have to glue that on there. Alright, happy Monday, and see you next week.